I want to talk a little bit about the role of women in the election this year. We're seeing more female candidates. We are seeing more women donating to campaigns. We are seeing women saying that they are more of them that are going to vote. And I'm going to start with you, Sheila, and ask you what you're seeing and hearing from people and why you believe. And again, we can start about women who have felt galvanized by what has happened in Washington and with Trump when women showed up en masse in January, right after he was inaugurated, and where it's kind of taken us from here.
Well, my sense is, and this is city and suburb alike, that there's an interest in political leadership by women that is materially different than in the past. Women, one, believing that we must act. That women's rights, if you will, or women's position in American society is potentially about to shift. I mean, the election of a person for president with the kind of personal history that the man had, and know that majority of white women voted for him is a really interesting challenge to everyone. So I've literally talked to women for whom it's their first time they've ever gone to a political meeting, that they've ever put a lawn sign in their lawns. This is primarily in the suburbs. There's a galvanization of women leadership and women wanting to stand up that's new and different.
Dave, what are the challenges, would you say, that women who are running for office face?
The challenges that any candidate faces, right? I mean, but let's be clear, right? We've seen something similar, maybe not exactly, but 1992 was dubbed the Year of the Woman, and this has 2018 has the potential to be the Year of the Woman 2.0.
Right, because just a quick stat here that there are 476 women, more women running for the House since '92. That was 298 in '92.
Right, so it's a almost doubling of that number. It is what the empirical evidence shows is that women, once they decide to run and are actively campaigning, they win about the same amount as men. It is the hurdle for women has seemed to be in the past making the decision to throw your hat in the ring. Right, and that is something that is, again, different with almost 500 women running. That's a palpable difference.
All right, we only have a couple of minutes left, so I want to get to the 11th congressional district. And Nolan, I'm going to start with you. Speaking of women, there are a couple of women Democrats who are running also, and Lena Epstein on the Republican side seems to be leading the charge here. Rocky Ruskowski, Mike Kowal, Clint Kesto, Carrie Benevolio. The Republicans are duking it out, and some people are calling this as a toss-up when we look at November.
Well, it very well could, because the demographics of that district have changed over the decade. It was a safe seat when Trott was sitting in it. I don't know that it's a safe seat now that it's open. Mitchell poll, again, going back to that, Epstein has opened about an 8-point lead, largely on the strength of the national attention she got and the money she got from being denied her fundraiser at the Franklin Hills Country Club. That was the best thing that club could have done for her. They said, well, you're Republican, you're for Trump, you can't come here. And she got money in from all over the country. It's going to be an interesting race depending on who comes out of it. On the Democratic side, you've got the two leading candidates, I believe, or three leading candidates, Tim Grimal,
Sunil Gupta, Haley Stevens, and Faye Saad.
You know, Grimal, of that three, Grimal's the only one with a resume. The other two haven't done very much. If it's Grimal versus Epstein, I think it becomes a very, very interesting race.
And going back to gender, right? We're usually seeing women run on the Democratic side. Here, you'd have a Republican woman, and how that dynamic works would be really fascinating.
Really in 30 seconds left, how are we feeling about polls these days? When you hear we've got poll numbers, then I thought I saw a poll with a margin of error of like 8%. I was like, I don't know if
it's still, when it's done right, the most accurate way to get the sense of what voters are going to do.
I know, but you just said asterisk when it's done right.
But we have a lot of people out there doing sloppy work, and it's hurting those who are really dutiful about the way they.
A poll is only as good as its sample.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
the sample mirrors if we're talking about elections, if it mirrors what turnout is on elections day, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
If they miss the sample, then it's all bets are off.
All right. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Dave Dulia from OU, thanks so much for joining us. Sheila Cockrell from Citizen Detroit. We'll go ahead and check your work out there so people can get involved and get involved in the process. We appreciate it. Of course, Stephen Nolan, I'm going to see you guys next week.